What is up, guys? It is Kevin here, and today I'll be showing you how to imitate this on this. Coming right up. Alright guys, this is Kevin here, and today I'll be showing you how to imitate a guitar on a keyboard. Now, if you're a pianist like me, who also does producing stuff, but is either not a guitarist at all, or like me, who is not a really good guitarist, you're probably not going to be playing the actual guitar, but you want to imitate it on the keyboard. But then you probably don't know how to, because the way you play a guitar, strike chords and pick, is very different from the way you actually play the keyboard. And today, I'll be showing you a couple of tips or tricks that I find useful when you want to imitate it on the keyboard. Number one, find the 6 strings on the guitar and limit it to these 6 strings. What I'm talking about is when you have a guitar, you have the 6 open strings, E, A, D, G, E, and E. These are your 6 open strings on guitar. Now, when you have like either a guitar plug-in or if you're using the default guitar patches in your digital audio workstation, you want to be able to find these 6 open strings. These 6 open strings will define what is the parameter you could play. As you can see, here's the lowest E. So anything lower than this E is not possible on the guitar, whereas it is possible if you're a pianist. You could play low down here. Unless if you tune your actual guitar down to like DADGAD tuning or stuff like that, then it works. But if you're doing your default E, A, D, G, B, E, no lower than that. Of course, if you're using a plugin like I did for Ample Guitar, they do not allow you to play lower than that anyways. You see? So that's good. They limit it to this. And you probably can only go as high as the C. Already pushing it. Right? Yeah. See? After this, you cannot play anymore. But yeah, what I'm saying is you gotta find the parameters of where a guitar could operate. And if you do know a little bit of guitar, that helps. But if you don't know, let's review again. Here's the lowest E. Here's the C. Between these 2 notes are the ranges you could probably operate your keyboard to imitate a guitar. Now moving on to number 2. A lot of us will probably strike some chords and play some single notes, trying to imitate yourself playing a guitar riff. Now we gotta find these actual chords. And the way you play piano chords is drastically different from the way you play guitar chords. And one of the biggest differences is guitar only has 6 strings, so limit yourself to playing just 6 notes. Now for piano, you could have like big and bulky chords. I just played a couple, but it probably doesn't sound like you're playing a guitar, right? That's because we have more than 6 notes now. And you want to limit it to 6 notes. And as well, you want to make sure you're not playing your chords as you're playing piano, so don't just like strike down the chords like this. See, I'm already trying to imitate a guitar. What you want to do is you want to actually strike the chords in an arpeggiated way. So if I were to do a G chord, you always want to make sure you have a quick little sweep, which we call arpeggiation. That way, you're actually imitating you striking a guitar, and you can do it like left to right, which is up down motion, or down up motion, right to left. That way it sounds more like you're actually striking a guitar. And of course, like I said, limit it to 6 notes. So now which brings us to our next point. Finding the chord that would actually sound like you're striking a guitar chord. So let's go back to your normal open strings. Let's go ahead and use these 6 strings or 6 notes to help us find a G chord. So a G chord on guitar, we would start on the 3rd fret, which would be a G. But if you don't know, you probably want to start on the G anyways if you're a pianist. So here's a G, and then we could add a B, a D, which of course the B would change from the A because we have, right, we go is okay. G, B is fine. B is totally fine. And we can play that little G at the end instead of the E, because otherwise it probably wouldn't sound like a G chord. So now we have this. Like I said again, give it this little sweep so it would sound more like you're actually playing a guitar. These are the basic 3 tips. Find the open strings, figure out the parameters, and then go ahead and figure out the chords, limit it to 6 notes and give it a sweep. And the 3rd tip, of course, is to basically utilize your open 6 strings to figure out the chord shapes, because it is drastically different from the piano. Now on to the next part, which is some things that guitar cannot do, but you as a pianist can do. Starting with single notes. You probably don't want to do something like this. Yeah, it's kind of iffy to do something like this. Guitarists have what we call hammer-ons, which is if, of course, if you have an actual guitar, you can play a note and... Oops, let me try it again. It's a hammer-on technique, which of course, if you use ample guitar in the default mode, you could do, or, oh yeah, something like that. That's more like it. You could do, that would work, but you probably don't want to do this. You see how now ample guitar is already showing me that I cannot do it. You cannot play 2 notes at the same time, even though when you're in keyboard mode, you can do this. That'd be totally fine, but it doesn't sound like what is a guitar chord. You want to make sure that you actually figure out what is doable on guitar and what is not. And last thing to be careful for when you are actually playing is to avoid same left and right hand. So for example, for a G chord, you probably don't want to have a G major like this. That probably doesn't work. Yeah, you want to make sure you give the notes variation. Just like that would help you sound a lot more like you're actually playing a guitar. And to end it off, I'll demonstrate the intro of Hotel California by the Eagles, so you can hear how much these tips will help you play your keyboard but make it also sound like you're actually playing a guitar. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and smash that like button to see more future videos like this, including tutorials, covers, and useful tips like this. This has been Kevin, and I'll see you in the next video.